wonderful 50 some odd degrees, and so we're looking forward to revisiting our plans from last night and trying it again this evening. We're going to have the fire pits lit here this evening, so if you want to come out and enjoy an adult beverage and take advantage of the fire, it's a great opportunity to do that this evening. To get us started, I have Perry, who has an announcement to share, and sort of a winter wonderland. Let me find your slide.
Some
here.
of you were involved. We appreciate that. Others were impacted as we were around doing things. We tried to make it as least inconvenient as we could as we moved around throughout the community. We have a couple more shots today that we'll be finishing up with, and then go into the editing process and try to put together a wonderful video to help sell our community and be out on the internet. And so that'll be coming soon. So that's great. But here's a big fun thing, and you can see the number up there, $10,000. The holiday season is upon us, and many of you are very generous with your time, your donations, but we are looking forward to giving back to you. This has been a good year, a difficult year, but an okay year in terms of sales with all the COVID and all the challenges that we've had. Our sales have maintained pretty well, but we need to have a strong finish to the end of the year. So our resident referral fee for any new leads that you can give us today going forward, that we can close people in the next 6-7 weeks to the end of the year, your resident referral fee will now be $10,000. Now you'll get an email, so this flyer will be emailed out to you, so everyone who has email will get this. But it will be paid over a series of a few months. It won't be in one lump payment, but that's a pretty big number, and again, that will help us tremendously as we close out the balance of the year. So we're looking forward. Many of you give us great referrals already. We appreciate that. Referral has to be someone that ultimately ends up closing. Not everyone that we talk to initially does, but if we can get someone that you refer to us, then this is what we'll be talking about. So we hope that we'll be doling out a lot of money to help us fill in some remaining sales for the balance of the year. So thank you very much for that, and look forward to me getting to be Santa Claus. Look forward to that. Thanks again.
All right, thank you, sir. Back to work. Okay, Don, next slide. All right, so Tuesday is our usual COVID update, and we're going to start by taking a look at the board here. So here we're looking here at the we're looking here at Pinellas County, and you can see the influenza, which is down on the bottom. This is looking back over it's a daily visit from 10/16 up through November 15th, and you can see the flu-like symptoms is orange there at the bottom. It's been pretty stable. We've had a couple of small spikes, and then we see the COVID-like illness. These are presentations at hospital, and you can see over the last couple of weeks that there is a I have to mess up this word every time. Generally, there is a slight increase over the first 14 days of the period, and then we've seen a pretty significant decline in the number of COVID-like presentations at hospital. Most important up here is the death rate, the mortality rate, and you can see on 11/15 it was almost nil. So that's a positive piece of information. All right, John, we're going to go to we're going to take a look at the state of Florida, and you can see the dark blue is the areas where there are pretty significant outbreaks. Jacksonville, Tampa, Orlando, Miami-Dade area, and Pinellas County was in the dark blue last week. You can barely see it, but we actually are a little lighter shade of blue, which is a good trend. So we'll continue to look at that. Let's go over to health metrics. Okay, here are the trend lines. We look at this every single week. We had talked about last week, we were looking at the difference between the leading indicators and the trailing indicators, and we were talked about expecting to see a top of the curve or a flattening of the line, and that's pretty much what we're seeing this week. We'll start over here on the left-hand side. The top upper left-hand chart is the number of people who are presenting at hospital with flu-like symptoms. It had been declining over a 3-week period. Look what happened last week. It just spiked tremendously. We're going to come back and talk about how important flu shots are, and I'll give you an update on where we stand at Regency Oaks. So flu season is upon us. We anticipate seeing that number continue to increase week over week. And then look at what happened with people presenting at the hospital with COVID-like symptoms. That's the purple line in the bottom left-hand side. It went flat for a couple of weeks after an initial spike. It spiked up last week. It sort of stabilized again. So we're running a pretty flat line compared to what you might be seeing in other counties or other states, and certainly compared to what we're seeing here in the United States at large. The documented new cases, we've been hitting about 1,500 new cases a day here in the state of Florida over the last couple of days. There has been an increase that's very gradual, but we continue to see that. And then the percent positive, you can see it sort of mirrors the new cases there in the red. So these are all good figures, and we're going to go over to cases by zip code, Don. You can still see that here we are in Pinellas County. This is the Palm Harbor Post Office. That's as close as we can get to where we're actually looking at. And you can see it's really hard to see, just the tiny bit of blue shading that is beginning to replace the red. So throughout the state of Florida, yes, we continue to see an overall increase in the number of new COVID, but look at the amount of blue that is beginning to replace the red. And so that's a pretty good early indicator that, in fact, we have gotten on top of this spike, and we're not going to see what's happening in other areas of the country. If we go over to cases by the case maps, just go over one on that bottom toolbar. One to the left is case maps. Thank you. And let's go over to cases by. Go over one more. The rate maps. And one more.
This is case maps.
Yeah, go over by cases by county, or is it by country? County. That's not what I really want. Let me. Yeah. So this sort of shows you a broader perspective of what's happening. You'll recall that the initial outbreak of COVID was up in Seattle, and it started along the West Coast, and then it went up to the New York, New Jersey area. And so look at those two areas. Those were the very first hotspots for COVID. They have pretty much cleared out. Florida trailed, and you can see Florida is in the process of clearing. But look at Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, middle of the country. That's that bright purple color is Colorado, where they are, and a little bit of Nebraska, where they're really having some issues. And then, of course, the entire northern part of the United States, all the way from Michigan, Wisconsin, into the Dakotas, Wyoming, they really are experiencing an outbreak. And we know that the positivity rates up in that area is approaching 30%. So Florida is doing really well. I know every single night you're seeing that the numbers are going up in the United States by 120,000 a day. It's the good news. It's not good news, but the good news is it's not happening in Florida. And so, yes, these numbers across the United States are going up, but it's pretty well, to a large extent, contained for the state of Florida. Okay, so here in the state of Florida, we had 4,000 new cases over the last 24 hours, and the number of fatalities went up about 25. That's good. Here in Pinellas County, we went up a little over 100 cases. Our population here in Pinellas County is in excess of 1 million people, so we only had 100 new diagnoses for COVID here in the United States. Our fatality rate increased by 1. I want you to think about how phenomenal that is, and what that says is only one person in all of Pinellas County lost their lives yesterday to COVID, and it's because of the therapeutics, our ability to treat the disease. We have learned so much about the disease progression. It's the early diagnosis that we are able to get people to the hospital early, because we're looking for symptoms, we're taking temperatures, and we're getting medical intervention at an earlier stage. All of that is helping to drive down the mortality rates from COVID. In the United States, it went up from 11,043,000 to 11,207,000. So a little over 150,000 increase yesterday, and the fatality rates jumped pretty significantly as well. In terms of quarantine, our numbers this week are even better than the numbers from last week. We have 15 people here in the independent living who are under quarantine. Every one of them is because they are a new resident or they had a hospitalization. There is absolutely not a single person across our entire campus, all product lines, that is showing flu-like symptoms or COVID-like symptoms, and this is for the 5th consecutive week. So, great news. We are continuing to get a handle on this. It's because you are wearing your mask, you're practicing good social distancing, you're being smart about having your friends and your family visit. And so even though the state of Florida is slightly trending upward, it's because of the good controls that the governor has put in place and the recommendations of CDC that we're adhering to, and the strong support we have from our residents, that we're going to be able to get through this and continue to run with our campus pretty much wide open. When you think about what the services we're providing and what's open on our campus, almost everything that we had prior to COVID is now open. It's just in smaller groups with a little bit more safety consciousness because of social distancing. So I am encouraged. I think that our numbers are going to continue to track in the right direction, and that we'll be able to slowly move forward. I want to talk a little bit about Thanksgiving. I've got a couple of slides to show you. Ricky and his team have been working on a way to try to make this Thanksgiving memorable. This is the first of the major holidays that we've had to go through with COVID restrictions. And I'm really proud of the team because they've come up with what I think are a couple of really great ideas. So I'm happy to show you that as soon as we get our slides back. If the PowerPoint were working, there would be 3 slides. And so I'll talk about all 3 slides. I may not have the specifics, and so any of our dining service members, if you have information you care to share, jump in there. So the first thing that Ricky and Phil have been able to do is they are going to offer a grab and go Thanksgiving morning out of the tavern. And I understand it's going to be a cranberry muffin or another selection, hot coffee, and there are specific times for that. There's a flyer out there. Again, I don't have that. 8 to 10. And anyone know what the other muffin is? I don't either. So 8 to 10, it's a grab and go right through the tavern, and you're welcome to take it out and enjoy it on the breezeway or take it back to the apartment. Lots of options there.
This is Thanksgiving Day.
This is Thanksgiving Day. There is a really beautiful menu that was my second slide that we were going to go through the... perfect, okay. There's a really beautiful menu that Ricky and the team have come up with, and the appetizer is a shrimp cocktail, the assorted breads. The first course is a creamy parsnip and roasted apple soup. The second course is a mixed green salad with candied pecans, dried cranberries, crumbled blue cheese, and green apple vinaigrette. Of course, Tom Turkey is the primary star of the show. If you do not like turkey, there is also ham that is available. All the traditional slides, and for desserts, there's pecan and pumpkin pie and brown butter caramel swirl chocolate truffle ice cream. That's a mouthful. And so this is 12 to 2, and it's in both dining rooms.
I'm in the meeting.
The third slide is Thanksgiving has always been a big day for us with guests. We average 175 guests every Thanksgiving, and I know many of you will be going out and having Thanksgiving with families, but many of you used to bring your families in as well. And so this year, we're not able to allow families into our dining rooms. We're just not at the point where that is safe. And so we challenged the dining team to come up with a way that we could do this. And what we've come up with is to offer you a takeout option for family style. So if you have adult kids or a party of 4 or 6 or 8, and you'd like to have them in for Thanksgiving, you're not able to go to the dining room, but we will give you the option of being able to host a Thanksgiving dinner in your apartment that we will cater. And it's at the standard catering rates, and so it's not a money-making opportunity for us. It's more of an opportunity for you to be able, if you want to invite adult kids or family into the community and be able to celebrate Thanksgiving as a family. This is a way of doing it safely while protecting all the remainder of the residents. And so I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be a great option. All these little clouds are what's available on the menu. So there's great variety. You can create a feast in terms of providing a Thanksgiving dinner in your apartment. So look for this flyer. Do you know when this is scheduled to go out? This is scheduled to go out this week. I assume, I don't know the specific date, but this is a great way to be able to celebrate Thanksgiving with your family, even though you're not able to go into the dining rooms. All right, Wi-Fi update. We did have a conference call last week, as I had shared with you, and it was we spent about an hour on the phone going through the process, and we learned that we were getting 14 G79V vector K14s, and we were getting 14. It's very highly technical stuff, and so I can share with you the layman's interpretation of what this Wi-Fi project is going to do. It's broken down into 4 different phases. Phase 1 concerns our assisted living and skilled nursing, and it is almost completely done. It's going to allow us to take PCC, which is our primary charting software, and have that available to tablets for all of the nurses and the CNAs. So instead of having to go to a centralized nursing station where you can make notes on resident care, it is going to allow you to have a tablet or a cell phone at patient bedside where you're able to make those notes directly to an electronic medical file. And so it's essentially community-wide Wi-Fi over in the assisted living and skilled nursing, and that part of the project is just wrapping up. The second part of the project is to provide common area Wi-Fi coverage throughout the entire IL campus and town hall area. They started in the north building, and the wiring is just about done. They've taken Cat 6 wiring down every single corridor. They have built racks for the Wi-Fi repeaters, transformers, and transmitters so that they can get the signals all the way down the corridors. These are pretty powerful signals that will provide both broadband service and high speed. And so part of the problem we had with Spectrum, you could get one or the other, but it was difficult to get both. And so this is a hot new technology in that it's Cat 6 wiring from the source to the end user. That's going to give us greater speed, greater width, broadband width, and more capabilities. The second, I'll come back and talk about that in just a second, but the third part of the project is, once the second part is complete, the third part of the project is to be able to take that service and replace the Spectrum service for Wi-Fi, high-speed internet, in the resident apartments, so that you will be able to directly buy a faster, better quality service at a better price and buy it directly from me. I will buy it in bulk from a carrier, and we have not decided who that carrier is going to be, but I'll provide the bulk service. I'll buy it from the carrier, turn around and sell it to you. So it's just like you're getting Wi-Fi now, except for the provider will be Regency Oaks instead of Spectrum. You'll get a better price, you'll get a better quality, you'll get a higher speed. You will still have the option of staying with Spectrum if you would choose to do that. I don't think anyone would choose to do that, but that option would still be available. It may or may not be tied to a TV package. We just haven't gotten that far. We have a committee that is working on that, and we've sort of taken some of the early parts of the project and are moving forward with that, but we've not yet made a final decision on our carrier and what that is going to look like in terms of TV signals provided to the apartments. And so one of the questions was, what's the capacity of this new Wi-Fi? And so each data point, and there are 47 in the north building, that's the one that's just finishing up now. So we have 47 of the data ports, and they are capable of processing 256 different sources at any one time. So if Fred's in his apartment and he has his computer on and his wife is watching TV and he's streaming something live on his laptop, those are three sources that are being consumed in the broadband. This is capable of just a little over 240 per data point, and there are 47 data points. So this is going to provide wide capabilities in terms of Wi-Fi. You'll be able to game and stream and use your internet and watch TV and have plenty of broadband support in order to do that. It's also pretty fast. It's 100, and help me, Fred, what is MIPS? MIPS. It's 100 MIPS. I have no idea what that stands for.
Megabits per second.
Megabits per second. So it's a very robust capability. So its time frame is we are looking to have the north building completed around the second week of December. They probably will take the holidays off and start in the south building at first of the year. And so we hope to have our common areas completely done by the end of February, and then start looking at a solution on how to provide it to resident apartments instead of the common areas, and then what to do with the TV. We have a time frame that technically our contract with Spectrum expires in July of 2021. So this is, we sort of have an end date that we've backed into and we're working through. So I'll try to keep you up to date as this project is progressing, but it's going to offer great benefit for our residents because how can you argue against better service, higher speeds, better quality, and lower price? So,
One thing goes wrong, who would we call?
great question. yeah, that would be a terrible idea. So that's a great question, and I can tell you that we have thought about it considerably, and the committee had been pushing for what they call a concierge. And so it's a tech concierge, somebody who is on site at Regency Oaks to help with computer problems. And we're piloting it right now. I don't know if any of you are aware of it, but every Monday morning, if you see a guy sitting in the north lobby in that front chair, his name is Jacob. And Jacob is here every single Monday for a full 8 hours. And his only job is to sit there on standby and help with computer issues. And he's currently only working on staff. If I have a resident that's having an issue, I can send Jacob to take care of it. But we're piloting that program not only for Regency Oaks, but for LCS. And I've got to share with you that our initial feedback is that he has really been worth the money. And so I was not a big fan of this idea. I sort of believe that the future was, if you needed tech support, you called and you got somebody in India and they couldn't understand what you were asking, and then you just eventually gave up. And so that was sort of my approach to this, but I think maybe I've been proven wrong. And this tech guy is making a difference. So we're looking at something like that would be available to residents as well.
Can you change this day to Tuesday?
I could, but why? Oh, good thought. Okay.
now we have 100 MIPS with Spectrum for the Wi-Fi speed, so it's the same speed you're talking about. We also get a discount from Spectrum because of your contract with them. In July, are we going to lose that discount?
So, great question. And so our contract with Spectrum is expiring, and we are, although there are negotiations underway, I don't know what that's going to end up like. And so, as you know, Spectrum has individual contracts with each one of you, and they may go up 4%, 10%, 15%. I don't know. But here's the disappointing thing from the Spectrum perspective as a resident. Yes, if you are using my bulk service, that's basic cable and a landline, you get a discount, and you get a pretty good discount. If you're contracting for a premium channel, high-speed internet, you're not getting any discount. You're paying full boat, and they are charging you a bundle. I can beat the living daylights out of that price if I take it in bulk and sell it to everybody. And so that's what we're negotiating. And so your base service fee may go up a little. That's something I pay. It may go up. I think right now it's $9, something like that. It may go up a little bit. But what I can save you on the high-speed internet and the premium channels, I think is going to be significantly better. We don't have any figures yet, and we've just begun to take a look at some of the initial figures. But we'll keep you up to date. That's a great question. Robin?
Do we still need a landline?
So yeah, great question. Do we still need a landline? There are, we're probably 50-50. My wife loves landline. She doesn't trust cell phones. If you live at Regency Oaks and you have a solid concrete wall, if you don't have a repeater in your apartment, you're not going to get a very good signal. It's sort of personal preference. Cell phones, some people have converted completely to cell phones. Other people rely on the landline because it's solid technology that has been around since Edison. So I don't know if I have a preference there.
Hopefully we'll get some rations.
Yeah.
But if we have Prime on Amazon, don't we get these extra channels, the Prime channels,
On what?
on the television?
Mm-hmm. And she pays for that, so.
Yeah, if you pay for it, yes.
She's always done that.
Yeah.
It's included.
Yeah, so absolutely. If you want Hulu or Amazon Prime or Netflix, those are additional subscription services that are available, and you can absolutely pick that up.
Brett, one thing a lot of people I don't think are aware of, a lot of people have been told you should always have a landline in your house in case of a hurricane and the cell towers go down. If you live here and you have a landline and the electricity goes off, you have no telephone service.
That's right.
Because it's all run through the same
Right.
thing as your,
Yeah.
it's all electric.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. If you are relying on a landline because of a hurricane and we lose power, your landline is going to go down. So landlines here at Regency Oaks do require electricity in order to work. Just a couple of more things. Our ad valorem tax credits are posting on this next statement, and it's $514. So that credit will show up on each of your monthly statements, provided you met the requirements for participation. Flu shots, I promised to come back and talk about this. We have got to do a better job on flu shots. We have 109 residents in the north. We only have 65 in the south. That's 174 residents out of our 456. That means we're at 38%. 38% of our residents have gotten a flu shot and reported it to the front desk. So that is not going to get it done. And so I need two things. If you haven't gotten a flu shot, please go get a flu shot. If you have gotten a flu shot and you haven't called us to let us know you got a flu shot, that you didn't go to one of the clinics, but you went to a pharmacy or your physician's office or the health department free clinic and got a flu shot elsewhere and just haven't called us to say, I took care of the flu shot, please do that. It's really important we track these numbers in order to get immunity, herd immunity. We've got to get that number up to about 80, 85%, and we're not even halfway to that figure. So this is communal living. We're all in this together. I've got to get those numbers up above 38%. We will be in trouble come into December, January, as we get into flu season, if our number of people who have gone and gotten vaccinated continues to be this low. So please spread the word, share this information with your friends, your neighbors. We've got to get higher numbers on flu.
Another flu clinic here?
Yes, we do have another flu clinic scheduled. It's the right after Thanksgiving, and there's a flyer that is getting ready to come out. And do you remember the date off the top of your head? No? Okay.
Fran, many people are reluctant to leave their apartment. Have you thought about delivery?
Absolutely. If that's a great idea. If you want a flu shot but are afraid to leave your apartment, call the front desk. We will set up a scheduled date. We will come to you and give you a flu shot. That's a great idea. And
That's a good idea.
yeah, Chris is thinking this morning. There we go.
And my coffee.
Yeah, so we absolutely will come to get this is so important for all of us that we do this. We will absolutely come to you and give you a flu shot. And I have 3 things here, Tiffany, for you to update, and they are the last 3. You can read them right off the
Okay.
notes.
Good
You want a
morning,
microphone?
everyone. Okay, wonderful.
Oh.
Please don't forget.
Hold on.
Oh, you're right. If anyone knows better, it's me. Please don't forget Wednesday. I just want to confirm the Roro quarterly meeting is at 10 a.m. in the town hall. Perfect. So we're looking forward to seeing you at 10 a.m. Wednesday for the Roro quarterly meeting. I'm trying to be safe. For the Roro quarterly meeting at 10 a.m. in town hall. Also Thursday, our fall festival. Welcome to Fall will be our same experience as we've been doing the last few months. We look forward to having you there. We will have entertainment, nice fall treats, so please feel free to social distance throughout the town hall. We really appreciate everyone doing the 5-person at a time and being as patient as possible so that we can keep this event going. Also, if you probably haven't seen, yesterday we picked up a new vehicle to replace one of our Ford Flexes. Our car broke down, so we got a new one. So we have now a 2015 Toyota Highlander. So if for any reason you see a Toyota Highlander pull up to pick you up, it's still transportation. As the time goes on, sometimes we have to renew our leases or get new vehicles. So we just wanted to let everyone at the community know that we do have now a different vehicle. It's a Toyota Highlander, similar body shape to the Ford Flex, a very nice car. So if you see that for pickup, please feel free to get in the car. Of course, the drivers will be there, and we will also be putting our Regency Oak sticker on the car.
What color?
It's white. So we have a new vehicle in our fleet. So we're very happy to have it. It's safe and it's working well, and we just need to replace our other one, so we just wanted to let everyone know. That's all of my updates for today. Thank you. Question.
Would you work the mic for me? Thanks. All right, so that concludes everything on our agenda for Tuesday Talk. We'll open it up for any questions you might have. Gene Beagles, right up front here.
I'm not sure you would know the answer to this. It's about dining and Thanksgiving. Is there going to be a carryout time,
Yes,
or will it be a delivery to your room?
both carryout is here.
Come on up, Margaret.
I don't remember.
Hold on. I had this all on flyers. Delivery is 2 to 3, and then there is a carryout.
At reservations, when you sign up, you can also ask questions.
And all these flyers are getting ready to come out. So they're all coming out today in advance of Dish Talk on Thursday.
I have been trying to figure out why we can only have 3 people at dinner, and yet we can sit around a bridge table, which is much smaller, with 4 people.
Because you have masks on.
Yeah. So that's the answer. So you can sit around a bridge table with 4 families because you all are wearing masks. But when you're dining and you are not wearing masks, we limit it to 3 addresses. So it's 3 addresses, 2 addresses in the elevators, 3 addresses in our dining halls, 4 addresses at bingo or activities.
Thank you.
The bus.
The bus, have you heard anything?
I haven't heard anything. We paid the bill.
Yeah, so the bus is soon. We have not, they have not reached out with a delivery date, but Leesburg got their bus and they said they love it, so.
Last we emailed that it is in the works. So
It's-
we have
it's-
the insurance card and
Everybody.
Yeah, that's a good sign. There's
Yes.
there's
Yeah,
an
there's an
encouraging word.
insurance card.
They've sent us the insurance card, and we've
Yes.
started paying on the insurance
Yes,
for the bus,
yes.
so it is out there.
it is.
We have to make reservations.
Just one second.
I have bubbling in the paint on my windowsill. They came and fixed it once, and this last one showed up a couple more places where there's bubbling, apartment 8308. And I think they kind of nicked some of the caulking around one of the windows, because this last rain, it just came gushing in under a window, which is new for me.
A308,
Yes.
I'll let Darwin know.
Did you record it?
All right, what else?
All right.
If everybody is eating Thanksgiving dinner between 12 and 2, do we have to make reservations?
Yes. So reservations for Thanksgiving dinner are required.
Today.
That's today.
Today, right here,
Right after this.
right after this.
It's a lottery.
It's a lottery. Okay.
I think it's in town hall.
All right.
It's in Grand
I
Lobby.
live in P307. I have glass windows. And on the night of the storm, I had water coming in like, oh my God, it's not so the windows. It came like from the bottom. I was between 11:30 and 1 o'clock, I was wiping water like crazy.
So here's the story on glassed-in lanais, screen porches, and the plastic vinyl windows. None of them are airtight. None of them will stand up to a hurricane. None of them will stand up to sideways rain. And so there is this misheld belief that if you've glassed in your lanai, that it is going to prevent wind-driven rain from coming into your apartment. That isn't going to happen, and here's why. All of those are aftermarket applications. When Regency Oaks was first built, they were all screened porches. That's all it was. And so when we go in, remove the screen porches, and we put in the vinyl or we put in the glass, we essentially do nothing more than take a frame and set it on top of a foundation. It's not embedded into a foundation like what you would do if you were building a home from scratch. And so it's an aftermarket application. And so when rain that usually comes down vertically, the glass holds up to it great. But when you have hurricane force winds, and we had winds in excess of 50 miles an hour, and you have swirling wind, it drives the rain horizontal instead of vertical. And that rain will seek the path of least resistance. It will find the seams and the cracks and everything that is puddling, and it will find its way into your apartment. And it doesn't matter whether you have the old screen porch, there are only 3 of you left, whether you have the vinyl windows, or whether you have a glassed-in lanai. If you're facing the direction of that storm, you're going to get water in your apartment. It's something we know. They're not airtight just because they're glass, because of the application. And so when we have these kind of storms, you call the front desk, you get on the list, we come up and we throw towels on the floor, we vacuum, we put fans in the apartment, we try to get you back to normal. But that's always going to be the case with hurricanes. If we have a regular rainstorm, your glass windows should hold up just fine. We are taking care of a lot of the caulking, particularly for our second floor residents where you have the banding immediately above your apartment. We've paid real special attention to that during this resealing and painting that is going on. But there's not a solution for horizontal rain driven by hurricane force winds. You're going to get water. All right, any other questions? All right, thank you everybody. I appreciate you showing up.